Welcome back, podcast community. My name is Cam. This is Three Questions Podcast, episode number 101. It is a beautiful Monday morning, almost 10:30 here, and I have a couple of business questions that I want to start. I've been talking a lot about breakups and stuff for CK Collective. A lot of clients are asking me questions about breakups and ghosting and breadcrumbing, no contact, and I want to start putting up more business type stuff. Going to talk about e-commerce a lot this summer. I think we're halfway through the year, halfway through 2026, which is awesome. It's amazing. I love it. And yeah, I wanna start going ham on some business stuff. So let's hop into TQP. Again, if you've never listened to this podcast, just understand I will ask a question about business or personal related, essentially relating to what my clients are going through at CK Collective. And this is really just short, quick, hard-hitting podcast where I will answer a question within 5 minutes and then I leave you to it. I'm always going to give you good actionable takeaways. So if you are thinking about starting a business or an e-commerce or designing something, this one's going to be for you. Okay. So short episode today, three quick ones. Let's hop into question number one. Question number one, how do I figure out my why and why does it actually matter for my business? Easiest way to think about this is that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Okay. Everyone knows that selling and buying, whenever we buy stuff, it's usually coming from an emotional standpoint, and we're emotionally driven to purchase a product that is going to alleviate some aspect of our pain. People like material things. We're all consumers of something, somehow, somewhere, some point, and we need money to do so. Whether you run ads for your business or not, your ads are going to directly cultivate to your why as to what you do a business, right? So your business, again, it's a product or a service, but why are people buying that product or that service? Okay, well, they need it. Cool. Why do they need it? Awesome. They need it because they're solving a problem and your product or service solves that problem. That's the easiest way to think about it. Even stronger, here's how you turn a one-time purchaser into a repeat customer is you yourself need to have a strong why. If you're building a brand, you're building a business, you need three things called ethos, pathos, and logos. Your ethos is the core identity of your business. And that's what people are buying into. People will be repeat buyers and consumers of a product that they can match their own identity to. And it needs to have a stronger identity than their own. Think about Nike. Just do it. A lot of people know Nike is a goddess, right? And god of victory. Okay, cool. People want to be corresponding their own identities to that of victory, which is why Nike appeals to them, why they purchase Nike, why they wear the logo all around the world. People want to be associated with victory, which again breeds a lot of good positive emotions. That's why Nike has repeat customers. Forget about the product. People match their identities to wanting to be a great victor. They want to be successful in all the things that they do. So they purchase something that has a strong ethos or core identity to that very thing. Okay. Additionally, your why needs to be stronger than someone else's potential rejection of that identity. Okay. So people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. If you don't have a strong why for why you do this, let's take example CK Collective. I do this because I went through tough breakups. I do this because I struggle with building a business and I spent a lot of time learning, teaching, cultivating the tools and tactics to be able to put together a business. Learning how to build a website on my own, watching YouTube videos, talking to chat support on Squarespace or Shopify, using Claude, using AI. I spent years making content, trying to perfect my content, and I go through this process of consistency. But my why stems from my personal pain of not really having the community or the tools or the tactics, and now being able to share those tools and tactics. So people buy my process of what I've already been through, and I package it up, and then I sell them, and I teach them this business stuff, and I create a community that's sort of everlasting in that aspect, in that regard. So people see my why, and I'll tell people my stories, my clients, the things that I went through, and then how I successfully navigated those things. And because I successfully navigated those things, A and B testing what worked and what didn't, clients are now buying into the process that I teach them, which is hyper individualized for every person that comes through. Okay. Um, it matters so much for your client and for your business when that why is clear, right? Again, my why, I went through a bunch of pain personally and professionally, and I found a bunch of tools and tactics that alleviated that process or shortened that process and expedited that process in order to get to me to the next plateau. Clients see that, and when I tell them that and I issue those stories, they go, cool. I'm looking for the same thing. I want to be associated with that. And I'm looking for a community that I can share, be vulnerable, be safe, and have a space and a mentor to learn from. That's it. So my business, even though it's a service-based business, is more predicated on the fact that I am teaching clients how to successfully and expedite their own process of getting to that next plateau or navigating that difficult time period. In your business, again, if it's a product, that product should alleviate or sell the alleviation of whatever the buyer's problem is. If it's supplements, if it's clothes, if it's whatever, you want people to feel good when they associate with your ethos. That's again your core identity. Your pathos, that's a path that your brand and your identity is taking. So ethos, pathos, logos, the pathway or the journey or the direction of that consumer while they're integrating and associating themselves with your brand needs to be one that lifts their spirits. It needs to be some sort of embodiment for your client. They're buying a product from you, they're buying a service from you. What is the path that that person will be taking while they're associating themselves with the product or using your product? You want them to feel good consistently while they use it. You want it to be the best part of their day. How are you selling that? How are you issuing that? Are you dripping them knowledge from an email campaign? Is it associating with their social media? How are you making them feel consistently, whether they're buying from you or not? Because if you're not making them feel consistent and often, they're just going to stop associating with the product because your product and or service is not making them feel the way that they want to feel. That's where marketing obviously comes in. Let's talk about logos. Logos is really just like the visual representation of that, right? Think about logo. What do they look like? What do they feel? How is that eliciting emotion? Every time they look at your brand, they look at your statement, they look at your website. Your logos is just the outward visual appearance of what it is that you're packaging, which is that journey. So again, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And before you choose to start a product or service, or if you have a product or service, doesn't matter if it's e-commerce or not, if you don't have a strong why as to why you're doing what you're doing, you're going to have a tough time acquiring customers. So before you do anything, go back, understand your why. You need to put that forward. Okay. That's what matters the most. All right. Hopefully that answers question number one. How to figure out your why. And if you have more questions about that, especially for my clients, reach out to me. We can talk about this podcast in person. Okay. Number two, how do I pick which business idea to actually start? I love this question. Again, everything that you are going to build boils down to, is it a product or a service? You, as an entrepreneur beginning your own journey of creating a product or a consumer, forget about the product itself. I want you to just close your eyes for a minute, think back 5 or 10 years. What was the one product or service that you actually needed, but maybe couldn't find? What was the thing that you bought that you were maybe disappointed in? What was the thing that you spent a lot of money on but didn't quite match your wants and your needs? The best business idea is always to look back 5, 10, 15, 20 years and say, what was I searching for so long? Did I ever find it? And can I recreate that? Can I package that up? A lot of people will start a business. The problem is they want to make money. So you start out a business and you say, well, how can I make the most money in the shortest amount of time? It's not a bad way to start a business. But again, if you don't have a strong why, you're not trying to actually solve a problem that helps people or enables people to be better, that's fine. Anybody can shit in a box and then throw $10,000 a day on meta ads and probably sell a bunch. But if your product and your service isn't actually designed to help people or to advance people or to aid a problem that people are suffering through, you're going to be able to how do I say this? You're going to be able to recognize and really relate to your own consumers when it's been an issue or a problem that you have struggled with before in the past. For instance, I have a supplement brand that I started called Stronger for Longer. That's iamsfl.com, iamsfl.com. And I created my own supplements because guess what? For a long time, I didn't know what to take. I didn't know when to take it. I didn't know how much to take. I didn't really know the effects of all these different things, but I was still buying vitamins ad hoc, whether I was at the grocery store or whether it was at CVS or just passerby or something on Amazon. I was buying different supplements from different brands at different times and didn't really know what I was doing. So when I finally had this idea and it became too strong for too long, I found a manufacturer in the States that can print, package, and ship high quality American made supplements with really, really different blends than I had ever seen. And I started learning more about these. And by me purchasing vitamins from my own brand, guess what? I became more invested and I had to educate myself as to what to take and when. And I started matching and testing and documenting the different results of all the things that I took. So I took my own need for 10 or 15 years of just buying supplements offline or in person, not really knowing what I was doing, to actually becoming a really proud expert in how these supplements are really giving me the extra 10, 20, 30% of an edge on a daily basis when I take these things. So I solved and cultivated my own needs by developing stronger for longer. Sure, I'm not $1 million brand yet. Sure, I sell some supplements. I have some orders. I don't really market it, just post on social media. And my friends and family and clients know that I have this, and I like teaching people about that, which adds to my business repertoire as CK Collective. I also have a supplement brand. If you want to get them from me, awesome. If you don't, completely understand. I'm here for you. I like teaching about that. I just want people to have access to high quality supplements. And again, I am the number one consumer for my own brand, which is amazing. That is a great business idea to actually start. Additionally, I also have a brand called Hawaiify. And Hawaiify is just a really extreme clothing brand where I make really sick Hawaiian t-shirts with, dead presidents on floral designs and whatever else. It's my creative playground. I remember looking for cool shirts to wear when I was younger and I didn't really have them. And I was like, well, I'm just going to make my own Calavera skull floral one time on Printify. And then I found a manufacturer that can produce stuff here in the States. And now I make six different products in six different categories. And I make one design and I upscale it to 10,000 pixel resolution. And I upload those products and then I just post on social media. And I get random orders from all around the country. So I know at some point I'm going to see somebody wearing a Hawaii shirt out there and be like, bam, I made that. And when I wear my own stuff out, there's always someone that says, hey man, that shirt's awesome. This happened to me the other night. Someone was like, that shirt's awesome. Where'd you get it? I was like, oh man, I made it. He's like, oh, do you have an Instagram? He's like, I have a follow. He's like, do you take customer requests? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I want you to make a Frank Sinatra one. And I was like, awesome, bet, say less. I'll make that, put it out there. He's going to order that. And then when he wears a shirt, hopefully he shows other people where he got it. And eventually that grassroots is going to take off. Okay. Don't worry about the time. I'm just loving the process of me creating stuff in those short, small, simple interactions, which is grassroots marketing at its finest. So, how do you pick which business I did actually start? Go back 5 or 10 years ago, say, this was a problem. This is what I was looking for. I couldn't find it. So, bam, that's a stopgap. That's where you should start to create something. Focus on the innovation of what you couldn't find in the past and bring your own application to it. Bring your own experience to do that, create it, design it, and see what happens. Okay. Question number three. What do I need to know before building my own website? All right. Well, this is question number three because really the first two answers package into this. Once you have decided on whether you want to create, here it is. Step number one, figure out if you want to create a product or service. Once you have that product or that service, figure out why you want to bring that product or that service to the market. Once you have your why, then you can say, okay, well, how do I reverse engineer? What would success look like to me? Success, once defined, is very easy to see because you're going to know if you're in alignment with that success or not. But in order to do so, you need to develop a process of being like, well, how often can I do this? Can I stay consistent with this? Can I follow this process and not need the results? Maybe I want the results, but you need to not need the results. So your ability to maintain the process and work through the process without seeing any inkling of quote unquote success, you need to be able to walk that path for as long as possible. I'll tell you, I created content for, I don't know, 6 months, almost a year before I had 500 followers. I've had a podcast for what, 2 or 3 years, and I only have a couple thousand downloads, maybe about 5,000 downloads now in 3 years, and that's okay. But this is episode number 101. I like sharing and documenting my process of the things that I'm working on because someday it's going to make sense. If I do a podcast, this podcast for 5, 10, 15 years, documenting and having other people hop on this, other people are going to be able to associate and identify with, oh, Cam's providing tools for personal relationships and for developing a business. I'm going to listen to that. It's 15 to 20 minute episodes. That's short. That's easy. That's awesome. I don't need to listen to these 3 hour, 4 hour long podcasts like Joe Rogan or Sean Ryan. Not that there's anything bad with those guys, but people want short, condensed information. And here I am on my own time documenting my process of building a business and becoming a better human, learning, growing, adapting, evolving. And that's what people also want to do. You have no choice other than to grow the entire rest of your life. So if you are not willing to stay consistent with a process that you can develop that's in correlation with your why, again, my why is because I went through a lot personally. and professionally. And now I'm providing tools, tactics, protocols, all these different hyper fixated solutions on how to get better as a person and how to grow yourself and have better relationships and build a better business. People want to associate with that. People naturally are inclined to those sorts of things. So me providing tools in that regard makes it very easy for me to come on here and do my podcast on a Monday morning, despite knowing that I might only get 10 or 20 or 30 downloads. But my first 50 episodes, yeah, I was only getting maybe one or two or three or four, despite being listed on Apple or Spotify or Google Podcasts, whatever it is. So my ability to stay consistent with my process and not need the results. My podcast isn't monetized. I don't have ads, but I continue to put out episodes because I know that people are listening. And if I can change one person's motivation or provide some sort of perspective with my voice and my experience, then that to me is a win. I don't need to get paid for that. It's just helpful to be helpful to other people. You know what I mean? So, if you are going to build your website, you have a strong why, you know if you're going to build a product or service. I would pick Shopify to start. And when you build your website, I need you to answer a couple specific questions. You're going to write about who you are, what you do, why you do it, the product, the service, the testimonials, and then a contact. That's your homepage. Who you are, what you do, why you do it, the product or service, the testimonials, and then a contact at the bottom. That's your one sheet of a page. Don't worry about pricing. Don't worry about anything else. But one more time, so you can write it down, you're going to write who you are, what you do, why you do it, list your product or service, the testimonials if you have them. If not, don't worry about it. And then a simple contact. Anything additional to your website or your brand doesn't really matter, but that is what I want you to focus on. Who you are, what you do, why you do it, the product, the service, the testimonials, and then a contact. That should be exactly how you build your first website. And it should be simple, it should be easy, it should be awesome. As you grow that brand, as you build your first website, understand this. The second iteration, the third iteration, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, all of that stuff is going to be much, much better. First one you ever build, first product you ever make, it's going to be dog shit. Don't worry about it. It's going to suck. I promise you. And that's okay. I don't need you to do anything other than seeing your growth over time, which is why falling in love and being consistent with the process is the best thing that you can do. Okay. Don't sweat it. I'm here for you. I love teaching people business stuff. So again, if you're getting started with e-commerce and you're looking for a mentor, I will teach you. I will show you the way. If you are looking for personal tactics and breakup advice and how to navigate that, dealing with ghosting, breadcrumbing, I also handle that stuff, but I work on that stuff first with clients because you will not be good at business or be a good entrepreneur if you are still dealing with personal shit in your back life. Creative is as creative does, and when your personal life is on fire, it's very, very difficult to create. So I like working on that stuff with clients so I can teach them more about business stuff later, but I haven't done a business focused podcast in a while. Pretty soon, I'm going to talk about more AI tools and content creation, which is going to be good for you. But again, if you're looking for mentoring and you want to work on this stuff, please reach out to me at CK Collective. My website is ckcollective.us. And yeah, I'd love to work with you. So thanks for listening. This has been episode 101 of Three Questions Podcast. And I will be putting out more content here soon. And I love talking about business stuff. So reach out if you want to be a guest. I'd love to interview you. I don't like always doing my own podcast, but I would love to chat with you. And if you got any questions, hit me up. And I'll see you guys in the very next one. Okay? Peace.